Welcome to Trendy Flicks, your ultimate destination for the latest in movies, TV shows, and streaming trends. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the entertainment curve.
Inside the gruesome Deadpool killer case that led to a death sentence for Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson of Florida, dubbed the Deadpool Killer because he shares the Marvel character's name, was sentenced to death for the murders of two women in 2019. By the time police found the body of Diane Ruiz in a field in Cape Coral, Fla, on October 10, 2019, the man who'd eventually be sentenced to death for killing her was already in custody. Wade Steven Wilson, dubbed the Deadpool Killer because Wade Wilson is the Marvel character's regular guy name, was arrested October 8 after sharing grisly details about his crimes in a phone call with his father, who helped relay the information to police. But when officers first picked Wilson up at an unoccupied residence he'd apparently broken into, the 25-year-old wasn't arrested on suspicion of murder. Rather, Wilson was charged with burglary, larceny, and damaged property, as well as with battery for attacking a woman, identified during his June 2024 murder trial as his then-girlfriend Melissa Montanez, on the morning of October 7 in Fort Myers, Fla. Days later, the Cape Coral Police Department confirmed that Wilson was a person of interest in the deaths of Ruiz, 43, and Christine Melton, 35. Both of whom were killed that same morning. The CCPD said in a news release at the time that detectives, working closely with the state attorney's office, were awaiting test results from the crime lab and conclusions from the Lee County Medical Examiner's office before they brought additional criminal charges against Wilson. And on November 19, 2019, Wilson was indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Announcing the charges at a press conference alongside State Attorney Amira Fox, Cape Coral Police Chief Dave Newlin acknowledged that there had been questions as to why Wilson was not immediately charged with the deaths of Melton and Rui. The suspect was also charged with 1 count each of battery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of a dwelling, and first-degree petty theft. Let me be clear, securing a successful prosecution, and ultimately a conviction, in this case is paramount, Newlin said. A hastily conducted investigation, simply for the sake of speed, where steps could be missed, benefits no one. Here are all the details on the case that resulted in Wilson being convicted of murder and sentenced to death almost 5 years later. Melton, who was originally from Illinois, worked as a waitress and was helping to care for her mother, Katie Melton, who was starting to show the effects of Alzheimer's disease, according to the victim's brother Richard Melton. Christine was her best friend, Richard told Newsweek after Wilson was sentenced on August 27. They had coffee every morning. He described his sister as a fun-loving and super light-hearted person, as well as super kind and non-judgmental. The brother said that their mom hadn't processed that Melton is dead and persists in believing she's alive, well, and married. Melton met Wilson on the night of October 6, 2019, at Buddha Live E, a bar in Fort Myers, according to the prosecution's accounting of events during Wilson's trial. Melton was with her friend and co-worker Stephanie Saylor. Per prosecutors, they stayed until closing and, along with Wilson, went to the home of Jason Shepard, where they spent a few hours before Saylors and Wilson went back to Melton's place in Cape Coral. Saylors and Shepard both testified at Wilson's trial that the defendant and the victim had sex while at Shepard's house. When she left Melton's house later that night, Saylors testified